Live in front of a fireside audience, it's the Stacking Benjamin Show. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and what does the word retirement mean to you? Finally parading out the Pokemon cards or prank phone calls to Joe's mom? Maybe spending hours binging the Golden Girls? What, just me? Well, regardless, I think we can agree that the traditional definition of retirement is fading. To share their takes on the new retirement, let's welcome from the House of Five podcast, Wendy Mays. And hey there. And this is my time, Wendy. And from lenpenzo.com. No jokes today, folks, because I think it's time we respect our elders. It's the Honorable Len Penzo. And from this here podcast, it's OG. And that's not all. Midway through this discussion, I'll make sure to regale you with some music-related trivia. And now, a guy who is about to regale us with his amazing show-opening segue with some witty repartee, it's Joe Saul-Sehy.
Hey there, Stackers. I feel pressure, like I got to say something big, and I'm just not coming up with it, Doug. So,
no smooth segue this time?
It's no this time or
shocking.
Or yeah, never. Hey everybody, welcome to Friday or Fry-yay. It's the Stacking Benjamin Show. I am Joe Saul-Sehy, as Doug so politely just mentioned. We've got a great team here today with me. Let's get right to them. Across the card table from me, it's Mr. OG.
Say what?
How are you, my friend?
Fantastic. It doesn't feel like a Friday.
It does not feel like Friday. Why?
Feels like the beginning of a week, but
it does. But you know what? It's going to be a great show, OG. You know why?
Why?
Because deep under Los Angeles, Mr. Len Penzo's joining us.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm a little sore. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Oh?
Yes. Just, Doug, just to let you know, I was kind of practicing, trying to be you. I was practicing how you do the opening and the close of the show. You do it so well. And you know when that part where you go, it's, ow. I think I gave myself a hernia yesterday.
It's tough. I'm an elite athlete, Len, and it takes years and years of lung training.
Yeah. Well, is that where it's coming from, the lungs? I don't know. But I think I pulled something a little lower than that.
It's
Anyways,
a family show, Len. By the way, we're giving you all the props today, Len. Just thank you for being you. Just got to say big thanks for being Mr. Len Penzo.
Yeah, the honorable part, that kind of threw me there. That's pretty good. But thank you.
Yes, anything we can do. And the woman here who's going to make the show, the woman was so excited to be introduced, she decided to take over the open. Wendy Mays is here.
I'm sorry. I had to make a show of the X chromosome in the room.
Wendy, have you ever listened to the show?
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
Well, then you got to know you come in later. But that's fine because we're happy hearing you early and often. I'm so happy to be talking to you. Tell the three people that don't know about the House of Five what you and Curtis do there.
Well, we are on the journey to financial independence, retiring early. And we started at a pretty bleak place. And so we want to lock arms with other moms and dads who want to be on that journey to financial independence as well.
Hey, tell me about that, because you have this incredible journey that you're on. Tell everybody how many children you have.
Well, we have 6 altogether. I'm currently visiting my oldest, my 25-year-old in Phoenix, hiding out in her closet. I'm hiding from all of the other children. My youngest is 7 and my oldest is 25. And so 6 kids.
And how you got there is an awesome story for another day. But it is, yeah. I know you guys live a full life. You have a lot of fun. And I love following what you do at House of Fi. We're going to talk today retirement, and Wendy's on the journey. Len is crossing that milestone any second. OG's helped several hundred people retire. So let's get into it. Let's get this party started. At T-Mobile for Business, unconventional thinking means they see things differently so you can focus on building your stack. That's why they've become the leader in 5G, number one in customer satisfaction, and a partner who includes 5G in every plan. So you get it all. Unconventional thinking from T-Mobile for Business. Open Signal Awards, T-Mobile's America's fastest 5G network USA, 5G user experience report, July 2021. Capable device required, coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan or feature. See T-Mobile.com for JD Power 2020 award information. Visit jdpower.com/awards. Today's piece comes to us from Minify, which is by our friend Adam. Adam wrote this great piece called Startup Fire, where he has this new, not really new idea, and I'm not really a fan of all the different FIRE acronyms that are out there. Coast-Fi and Fat-Fi and Lean-Fi. But for people that don't even know what FIRE is, it is financial independence, retire early. That's the movement. And Adam talks about Startup Fi this way. He says, using the skills you learn during your life in a way where you have full creative control and the required outcome is no longer generating revenue. In other words, Len, let's start with you since you're maybe retiring here soon. This idea of creativity and still doing lots of stuff resonate with you?
Yeah. I mean, if you've got of course. I mean, if you've got skills and you can leverage them on your own terms, then why wouldn't you, right? I mean, if you're going to retire or, leave the corporate job and you don't want to do that and work for the man, by all means, yes, absolutely. Leverage yourself.
Are you going to keep making money then after you, quote, retire?
Well, yeah, that's part of my retirement. Yes, that's of course.
Yeah, you will have some side income coming in. So this really
absolutely
does speak to you, because Adam works on projects here all the time, just to give people an idea of the piece that we're looking at that a lot of people in our audience can't see. We'll have a link, by the way, on our show notes page at stackingbenjamins.com. But when it comes to this, OG, do you find that this is more and more the case where people are continuing to work, bring in side income like Len's talking about?
Well, I think even more recently with the Great Resignation, you're seeing that where people are just changing, from their full-time gig to their 3 part-time gigs or whatever it looks like, and focusing on the stuff that they want to do as opposed to kind of that 9-to-5 job, that we've been conditioned to recognize is not the thing that we want to do for the rest of our lives.
Wendy, for you and Curtis, I know you guys have changed, I think, following you more to things that you enjoy doing and away from the things you don't.
Yeah, more for me. Kurt will probably always work as a teacher. That's kind of his passion. But for me, absolutely. Though I would say that if I were on this journey maybe 15 years ago, it might look very, very different because we are creating and we're not relying on the income. I probably would have pushed myself, more to make an income out of this kind of phase in my life if I were younger. But because I just turned 50 and I have no problem with just sitting on the beach.
Here.
I mean, I love what I'm doing, and our intention is to generate income with our side business, but not so much so that we are 100% dependent on it. It's more about choice at this point.
When you talk about earlier days, do you mean that you would have worked harder for income quicker to get here sooner so you could sit on the beach sooner? Or that you would have had this kind of halfway existence where you're working on creative projects because you like them and you can be a little bit more choosy?
I guess what I'm getting at is that my mindset 10 years ago versus my mindset now is very different. And a lot of that has to do with adopting the boys. so that, I was all about like the vision boards and self-help and improvement and building a business. And I was going to create this humongous law practice and have, associates who were going to be earning our income for us. But I just don't have it in me to do that anymore. And I don't want to do that anymore. It was more of finding a way for us to design a lifestyle for ourselves at retirement that would fit what our life looks like now with the boys.
I think you brought up something interesting, Wendy. And when Wendy was talking, I heard her say that her view on retirement has changed. Have you found that as long as you've been in the field, that people, as they get closer to retirement or things happen in their life, that it changes a lot or a little?
I think that a couple of shifts happen during the kind of your younger years. For whatever reason, there was, although maybe it's not as much anymore, this push toward, like, you got to have the job or you got to have the career that is money sustaining, lifestyle sustaining, even if you don't particularly like it. And somewhere in your 20s or 30s, I think late 20s or 30s and maybe early 40s, people start recognizing that it kind of sucks to go to work every day for a really long time. So then you kind of sort of maybe think, okay, I'd get my stuff together, so to speak. But then the interesting shift that happens, if you haven't thought about what's after that, even if you're a good saver or a good investor, and you get to the point where you're maybe 50 or 55 and you're financially independent, or you have the opportunity to be, if you haven't thought about what's next, then it's almost like, well, why do I want to stop doing this? I'm good at this. I know the outcome of this. And you're also in your peak earning years. And so the struggle becomes, once you get to that financial independence, which sounds so glorious on one side of the equation, you say, God, I can't wait to get there. And then you do get there and you go, well, maybe I don't want to do it because I don't want to quit my job because those idiots are paying me $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year.
Is that where you're at, Len?
Well, to OG's point, I've thought a lot about, what comes next, and I finally know exactly what I need to do, and it's follow the light. Just head for the light. That's what we're supposed to do.
It's not a train.
No. So just let go and head for the light.
It sounds like you're dying.
That's what's next for me.
But
this sounds horrible.
But I bet, Len, there was a point in time where mathematically it was sound for you to retire, right? And then also in the back of your mind, you were thinking, but those idiots are paying me all this money.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'll just hang out a little bit longer. And
that's where I'm at still right now. I mean, when I think about what I'm going to walk away from, it's sometimes I'm kicking my, like, do you know what you're doing? By the way,
it's breathtaking how much money you're walking away.
Well, I get it. Compared to what I'm going to be earning in retirement, let's put it that way. Okay. Sure. I mean, it's hard.
But somebody said they're
going to do it. I am doing it. I am doing it.
Yeah,
the notice is in.
A guest, a time management expert, Len, talked about this recently and said that we tend to undervalue time and we overvalue money. So in other words, you think, well, hey, I'll just stay there another year or two, right, while they continue to pay me. That's why you're kicking yourself. But when you think about time, we have no idea how long we're going to be here.
Yeah. And what's funny is the lines cross. When you're young, you value money way more than time. And as you get older, up there into your 50s and you see the end zone there, and you realize time is precious and you don't want to waste it.
Go toward the light, seeing the end zone. How morbid are you today?
Well, I am sore. Remember, I told I'm feeling sore. I'm feeling my age. But no, I mean, hey, this is legitimate. This is stuff that, really, it's to have a frank discussion, and that's what I'm doing here. I mean, I know when you're in your 30s and 40s, you just don't think about it as much. But as I'm getting older, I'm thinking about it. I'm not trying to be macabre or anything, but it's just life, Wendy, it's no big deal about, it's just the way it is.
Wendy, you said you just had a milestone birthday. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Did you find that changed your outlook as well?
Yeah, but it was a long time coming. It was about 5 years coming of just a shift in what I needed, what my family needed. but 50 did hit me pretty hard. And just realizing like, gosh, that's half a century,
Right.
you know, our bodies are, you know, they don't recover like they used to. And, you know, your skin isn't the way just everything. And just starting to realize like, I'm on the downside and I should, you know, stop putting things off. Like it's time to do the things and go after the things that I've been putting off for a long time, waiting for it to be, you know, the ideal moment.
We heard this song from the Eurythmics on the radio that they came out with a few years ago when they got back together briefly to make one more album. And the song was called 17 Again. And Annie Lennox was singing, I Feel Like I'm 17 Again. And Cheryl turned to me and said, would you want to be 17 again? And I'm like, oh, hell no. I like where I'm at here. Wendy, I don't know about you.
I like where I'm at too, but it's in my mind. I feel the best in a lot of ways than I have in my whole entire life. I feel like our marriage is in the best place it's ever been. My relationship with my kids is the best it's ever been. I love where we live. I love where we are financially. But you know, I'm sitting here looking at myself and I see, you know, some wrinkles in my neck and, you know, your body just doesn't necessarily cooperate.
But I've also found different than when I was 30 or some of the people in the FIRE movement who are in their 30s. I feel like I'm way more bougie than them now. Like I look at the amounts of money that they would retire with. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want that. Do you feel the same? Have you got more bougie?
Bougie. See, I would think bougie means you want more.
That's what I'm saying. That's
exactly
what I'm
want
saying.
more.
Oh.
No, and as a matter of fact, like my husband and I go round and round about this. I feel like if we wanted to, he could quit right now and we could move somewhere with a really, really low cost of living and we would be fine. But he has kind of this monthly threshold that we need to create, that we're on our way to creating, which, you know, that's what he needs to feel comfortable and be okay. So that's what we're waiting for.
Well, I think that's what it is for me, more comfort than anything. Len, have you found this? Have you gotten more bougie as you've gotten closer?
Well, you know what? I'm totally free spending. I mean, it's been for quite a while now. I don't give anything a second thought at this, you know, on when I'm spending. But as soon as I retire, that has to change. And that will change. And that does kind of, I'm a little uneasy, but I mean, I'm going to be fine because you know, me and the honeybee, we spend way, way below our beans. We're very, you know, we have simple tastes. But still, I'm going to have to think about that. Right now, if I want something, I just go get it. That's just how it is. And I want to just go back real quick because you were talking about, hey, would you go back to 17? You know, would you want to be 17 again? And I was, as you get older, you know, you do get, you know, like Wendy was saying, you get things you're sore for longer, takes longer to heal up and things. But you know what? I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't, you know, as you get older, you know, they have those surveys that, you know, that people in their 60s and 70s, they're as happy as they've ever been. And that's how I am too. I love my father-in-law who's 78, you know, he still to this, he always says, and I love the saying, he goes, youth is wasted on the young. And that's, I kind of find that true, but you know what, it's our life journey and just enjoy it the whole way. And it doesn't get worse. You know, you talk about getting older, but it's not a bad thing.
In this piece, Len, he talks about failure and about now he can be creative and not worry about failing anymore. And that kind of hit me hard because I feel like failure is such a great boon for creativity. The threat of failure, I believe, makes you more creative. Did you feel that way, or did you like this idea of I can be creative without threat of failure because I have enough?
Well, yeah, it's always easier to know there weren't going to be any repercussions. But, you know, as an engineer, and I've done this in research and development, I mean, failure is part of the game. And yes, actually, you learn more from failure than not. So when you're young, you should not be afraid of failure. And that was one of my problems when I was younger, too, is I was afraid of failing in just doing things wrong in life in general. But I was also afraid of failing in my investments. And that was, that held me back too. I didn't invest as I probably should have. I should have taken more risks younger in life. Because I was afraid of failing there. And again, when you're young, the beauty of being young is you can make mistakes and you have the time to recover. So, relish that and take advantage of it.
Wendy hanging out with us on Fireside says 50 is so young. I agree with that. OG. I mean, listening to Wendy and Len and the way that they've changed over their life, I feel like when we talk about planning for flexibility is going to be so important.
I'm not sure that I agree with the statement that 50 is young.
Easy, man. Easy.
All you old people.
Hold on there.
My aching joints and my bones hurt so bad and my throat hurts from whatever you were doing. And, it's like, although I will agree, I am physically more tired than I would be based on some activities. But what was your question?
Planning for sponsored by ibuprofen. Where are we going with this?
This is the AARP
podcast. Tylenol. Have you had your Tylenol lately today? 500 milligrams a day keeps the doctor away. Tylenol.
Oh, man.
Where all the aches and pains go bye-bye.
Planning on flexibility.
Yeah.
And not flexibility like aches and pains flexibility, that things are going to change.
Although that would help if you did some stretching.
That your mood is going to change.
Like that comedian where he said he had to just do his ankle stretches because his ankle wore out. It's like now I have to just do ankle stretches every day because it's wore out.
That's all you got to do.
It's a whole workout just to get out of bed.
Yeah. I mean, I think that a couple of things that I've heard being talked about here, I think is really the most important stuff. And if nothing else has been a lesson over the last, 2 years or so, it's that, tomorrow isn't promised to everybody. And we would say that quite flippantly 2 years ago, but now we know, we've had some recent examples of that with all the health stuff going on. And you're talking about time and money and the relationship between those things, and Len talking about taking risks and flexibility and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I think that there's more time than we give ourselves credit for. The old adage of you can get more done over the next decade than you think, but way less than you think you can get done over the next year. But also there's no time like the present. If you're thinking about being financially independent, or you're thinking about walking away from something, I think the best course of action is do it and see what happens, especially now. I mean, everybody's clamoring for workers, right? So you've got a good opportunity to find a job if you really want one later, maybe even for more money. And like Len said, I'll take a little issue with his timing, saying, hey, well, I wish I would have taken risks when I was younger. The reality is that there's a really good chance that you'll see 100, and if you're 50 right now, while you might feel like you're kind of on the more yesterdays than tomorrows side of the equation, I think you still have to invest that way. You still have to think about, investing for the long term and generational investments and that sort of thing, because there is a good chance that you'll see 90 or 100. And if you've got a 50-year time horizon, what would you do? If you had a 5-year time horizon, what would you do? And if you can answer those questions, and one's different than the other, I think you gotta make a decision.
Len, how are you feeling during this? Do you need a chair? You need back massage? Need some help with something?
Biofreeze.
Yeah. Some icy hot would be really good right now.
I don't know if you know this, Len. The reason we're being so nice to you is because today is it's the International Day of Older Persons. We found out. So we just...
Oh, perfect.
As a guy who's a year older than me, I thought that this is clearly your day and not mine.
Yes.
So as long as
Thanks,
you're feeling...
Joe. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm just... is somebody going to give me the free early bird dinner at Denny's? If I get a certificate for that?
It's so great. I think that'll round out the first part of this discussion. Coming up right after our trivia, the second half, which is tactically now that we've defined the issues, tactically, what are our best ideas for planning for after work? Hey, at this point in the show, this is where we have our trivia battle, and our three normal contributors to the show, Len, OG, and Paula, who has the week off. So, Wendy, you're playing on behalf of Paula. They are on this year-long competition. So, Wendy, do you want the good news or the bad news?
Give me the bad news first. So,
well, the bad news is you are tied for last. With Len, you both have 11, but the good news is that means you get to guess last. So you're going to get to hear OG and Len's guesses so that you'll get to decide, where you place your guess. So that's the good news.
I'm coming for you, Len, for Paula.
That's fighting words. The fight's already started.
We don't, we're on the same team here, Wendy. We got to go. We got to get OG. He's running away with this.
OG's ahead by 2. Wendy's not even buying it, Len.
It sounds like OG got to her before the show.
I guess so. The $20 was already Venmo'd earlier. You missed out.
You're going to get Costanza'd.
Speaking of Costanza, we've got Doug here with a little rant for our friend Len today on his very special day.
Stackers, I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and as you now know, today is a very special day for a select older person on this panel. Wait, I think older is a correct word, but is it okay in 2021 to call Len a person? I think that's one of those things we're not supposed to say anymore. Maybe able-bodied biped, or maybe currently able-bodied biped is more accurate, or hopefully able-bodied for a long-time biped. Whatever. Like the honeybee always says, use it while you got it, Len, because who knows how long it'll last. But before all that, because Len, today is for you, buddy, I can't wait for you to share all your wisdom with us. Like, can you tell us about the time the wheel was invented? That'd be a great story. Or like, how many Sweet and Low packets should I have in my kitchen drawer? I know you guys stock up on those things when you get older. Could you tell us about the time you invented fire to cook your woolly mammoth? I mean, the knowledge you can pass on is endless.
Wait. Is woolly mammoth a euphemism?
Just let your mind wander. There's so much we can learn from Len, Joe, but in the interest of time, let's get to today's trivia. Speaking of outdated things that no longer have a use in today's society,
wow,
the CD...
That got hot.
Oh, my God.
The CD player was introduced on this date in 1982, but what year did the first CD hit 1 million in sales? I'll be back with your answer faster than you can rewind the tape in your sweet new Walkman.
All right. There, you've got it. I remember having one of the first Discmen. Len, did you have one of those?
Yes, I did.
And you're walking down the street and that thing's skipping every...
Oh, my God. It's terrible. It reminds me, my buddy had one of the first car CD players, and it was the same thing. every turn, the CD skipped. It was hilarious.
It seemed like a great idea at the time. All right. Now that you got your dose of old people stories there, Wendy's going last. Len, you're going second, which means, OG, you are up, my friend. The first CD that hit 1 million in sales, what year CD player announced or created in 1982?
So CD player 1982, and they probably started coming out with CDs in like 97.
Hey, wait, hold on. What are you talking about? Are you talking about like a CD album that hit okay, that's what I thought.
Yes,
okay.
Album.
A single CD album, like what?
Okay,
like the Beatles, right?
You were gonna say what album it was.
I was. It was probably the Beatles.
Beatles were around in like 18-something, right? 1840, 1860. Doug or Len would know. So would Doug probably. So. I'm going to say the first album that was on a CD to reach 1 million was 1986, and it sounds a lot like Michael Jackson. I don't know.
Oh, Michael Jackson, 86.
Or U2 or something. It'll be something like that.
You're trying to get bonus points by adding the artist in?
I think he is trying to flex here, maybe. Len, how about you, man?
Well, I'm trying to think. Okay, so I know that my buddy had the CD in his car. That was my first year working. Let's see, that was 88. So I'm sure I had my CD player before that, obviously, for at home. Yes, I did. Wait, did I? Oh, I can't remember. I think I did.
We're shedding listeners by the thousands right now.
Yeah. I think it was before that. I think I was in college, and I think I had CDs when I was in college. And if that's the case, I think 86, 85. Well, let's see. I'll say 85.
Going with 85. Well, Wendy, 86, 85 taken.
Well, initially I was going to go with the year I graduated high school, which was 1989, but I think that that's too late. But I also think I agree that it was Michael Jackson, and I'm thinking it was Thriller. But so I'm thinking that came out before 89.
Oh yeah, way before.
Not way before.
Oh yeah.
No, not way.
Oh
way
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember listening to cuts off of that when I was working as a box boy at a grocery store. That had to be.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with 1987.
1987.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's too late, but yeah, we'll see.
But you think 84 is too early, which means you're thinking going last might not have been the boon that it is.
No. I'm thinking back of like when my parents, we went down to Tijuana, Mexico, and I had to have the black Michael Jackson velvet painting. And that definitely was before 1989. I was in junior high. So that would have been more like 84, 83.
Yeah, now you're talking. See. Yeah, thank you, Wendy. Thank you.
Well, so do you want to go 84?
I'm going to go with 84. Yeah.
Right. Oh, how dare you?
Hey, I had to talk through it.
Len, be nice to the guest.
Okay.
Be nice to the guest. All right, we'd love to tell you which one of you is right, but we don't play that way. We'll be right back. Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. And I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. And it's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com. I have the only budgeting app I've ever had that I openly brag to non-stackers about it. It is called Cube Money, and it's the best budgeting app for 2021 that combines both my budget and my bank. How does it work? Cube allows you to be proactive, not reactive, because of the fact that it's the only app with the power to get in front of the purchase. Every other budgeting app is reactionary, right? That's why cash envelopes have been the best at changing spending behavior for hundreds of years. Your money gets safely deposited into an FDIC insured bank account, and you're the only one that can spend with your debit card. You even can get paid up to 2 days earlier. You'll see some real change when you use Cube Money. So the way that it works is their unique proactive spending method requires you to tap to spend every time you make a purchase. That's going to create real-time financial awareness, and it'll help you stick to a budget before the purchase, not after. What do I mean? You're ready to make the purchase. You tap to open the envelope. You swipe your card or stick your card in. By the way, good looking stuff from Cube. I know that you're not using it because it looks good, but I've had 3 different people ask me about my Cube card when I show them. Like, what is that? It looks so different. It's packaging gets me, but this is not about packaging. This is about decreasing stress and increasing confidence with your money. The easy method turns bad budgeters into good budgeters. You'll spend thousands less on unplanned purchases because you got a tap to spend. You're going to think about it for just a second. Don't give up on your financial goals. Cube Money's the answer. Signing up takes less than 2 minutes. In fact, way less than 2 minutes. It was amazing how fast I was able to sign up. Sign up for free today at cubemoney.com. Of course, Cube is spelled with a Q. It's QUBE money.com. QUBE money.com. Oh, gee, you kicked this off with 1986. The cool thing is if it was 1997 or 2011, you're going to win because you're the latest.
We shall see.
Len, you got sandwiched at 85.
Yeah, I think my odds of winning just went down. But yeah, it probably is Michael Jackson. I'm sure that Thriller was like an 81 or 82. It had to be.
No. Because don't you remember Friday Night Live, like when they would do music videos?
Friday Night Videos.
Friday Night Videos. That's it. Friday Night Videos. Thriller came on there, and it was a big deal. And like I can remember where we lived. I can remember like
this is when we're.
I was in high school during Thriller. I'm sure I was in high school during Thriller.
Right, but you're younger than me, so that makes sense.
We are. That's right, Grandpa. So, Wendy, you've got 84 and before. So let's find out which one of you three is right. But do we back off, Doug? Do we back off the gas on Len yet, or do we have more to go?
Oh, there's material for days.
Yeah. Let's rant about Len for a little, and then we'll give you the answer.
Hey there, Stackers. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. And in honor of all the older people around the globe, we're celebrating our very own Len Penzo, a resident able-bodied biped or whatever. Hey, Len, remind us, how'd you survive the Titanic again? Anyway, what about babysitting Betty White? Was she the little minx? I hope she was. Len, on this, your special day, we also forgive you for any technical difficulties you're inevitably having recording this podcast.
Wait a minute. The bad news about that line is that we wrote that before.
Did you really?
Before today's technical difficulties.
Right on cue. Len always satisfies. You know, Len, we'd bring you a cake, but candles at your age, and I mean, California already has enough problems with wildfires, so we're not going to contribute to that.
The hits keep coming.
So now that we've appropriately paid homage to our elder, let's give you today's trivia answer. Your question was, the CD player was introduced on this date in 1982, but when did the first CD album hit 1 million in sales? No, Len, it wasn't Lawrence Welk's Polka Party. The first artist to sell 1 million copies on CD was a little band by the name of Dire Straits, writing on the back of their hit controversial song. Enough. It's my time. This is my time.
Hey, Wendy set the precedent.
Writing on the back of their hit controversial song, Money for Nothing. It was their album, Brothers in Arms.
Oh, crap.
That broke the milestone in the year 1985. The old man wins it.
Oh, yes. Are you serious?
Len Penzo is our winner. Should I say it louder, Len?
Say it again, but I thought Brothers in Arms was like in the late 80s, but I'll take
1985, and by the way, Thriller was released on November 30th, 1982.
Wow.
Yeah. Wait, November 30th?
November 30th,
Oh, then I wasn't in high school, but okay, but close enough.
Well, Dire Straits was on Friday Night Videos too, so.
Yeah. But selling a million CDs, so Thriller, I would think, Wendy, Thriller outsold Brothers in Arms. I'm sure it outsold Brothers in Arms, but the CD was the difference there. Yes.
That makes no sense, though. You'd think Thriller would have.
66 million copies was Thriller.
A Thriller, yeah.
Wow.
Ton of stuff. Len, creeping back into it, man. Len now has 12, OG 13. Wendy, no big deal because Paula's usually in the basement in this game. So no harm, no foul as she stays at 11. And into the second half of today's discussion, this half of the show, our tactics for getting where you want after leaving your job, brought to you by Magnify Money. Wendy, you know what happens when you go to stackingbenjamins.com/Magnify Money?
No.
Doug, do you know what happens when you go to stackingbenjamins.com/magnify money?
You get helpful tips on a do-it-yourself colonoscopy?
None of the above. Two swings and misses. No, you find out that those brick and mortar bank products you've been using every day, maybe not best in class, where Magnify Money has over 92% of all the stuff rated head to head. Very logically, stackingbenjamins.com/magnify money, whether it's your checking account, savings account, whatever it might be, it's all there in one spot. Here in the second half of the discussion, we started off talking about what do you do after you leave your job? What does retirement look like? How do you plan for it? Let's talk about some best practices. Wendy, as you think about life after work, kids are now gone. It's just you and Kurt. How are you planning for that? How have things changed for you?
Well, as I said a little bit ago, I have no problem just sitting on the beach. So, so I plan to do a lot of reading, but I also have lots of things that keep me busy. I've got, the YouTube channel, and I write. And I think that that's just part of my nature, is wanting to help people. So I don't ever think that I will stop doing those sorts of things. It may not be the podcast or the YouTube or whatever, but I think I have a need to be involved with other people and helping them and empathizing with them and all of that. So whatever it is I do, it will be kind of in that vein.
But I think the key is you spend a lot of time, though, thinking about what you want, where I feel like most people start with their investments. You're starting specifically with the goal.
Yeah, we've kind of done that from the very beginning. It is we reverse engineered kind of, this is what we want. What do we need to do to get there? How do we make that happen? So every part of our journey these past 3 or 4 years has been with that in mind.
People getting ready to turn that corner and thinking about what they're doing after retirement, your best tactical advice to start wherever you're at now?
I think you have to define what exactly it is. When you're thinking about financial independence or you're thinking about retirement, you've got to set your sights on what exactly do I need income wise to be able to pull that off. And there's a minimum threshold. Wendy, you were talking about how that you guys have that kind of minimum number in mind before you'd be open to exploring, other things. But remember, that number isn't it's not your top line income, because with your top line income, you pay taxes and you have debt payments and you have, savings that you take out of that. So your living expenses are often quite a lot lower. And if you know what that looks like, then you can start making decisions about what in that lifestyle expense number is something that's going to continue into my financial independence time. Len was talking about this, that he spends willy-nilly right now, but will have to really buckle down. My advice to Len would be, hey, start living that life now. If you're concerned about it, live the life that you think you're going to live in 6 weeks from now or 6 months from now today. So the first thing I would do is get a sense of what that lifestyle expense number looks like, because when you have that, then you have an idea of how much money you need to get, or from that you can get an idea of how much money you need to accumulate in order to be financially independent.
What about outside income streams? Wendy, are you thinking about other income streams once you and Kurt quote retire?
Oh, 100%. Our situation, we're not going the traditional FIRE route where we are saving 25 times our annual expenses. We're creating monthly income. So because we started this much later in life, and this kind of goes into, our message for people who are maybe finding this movement later in life, is that you might need to think outside the box because you have less time to save that money. So for us, it is about creating income streams. So
I love that idea.
We've got rental properties that are going to give us, X dollar amount. Kurt will get a small pension at 55, which is going to give us another part of that dollar amount. And then now we're building these businesses that will then hopefully give us the remainder of that dollar amount. So even though we are investing for retirement and we're doing it at a pretty good percentage rate, we don't ever intend to use that to actually live on. And when I forget who said it, but talking about generational investments. That's in the forefront of our mind. We're trying to change our family tree here and leave something for our kids. So by creating this monthly income through either passive income or business income, other income for our retirement, we're able to kind of, keep this other egg for our kids.
Oh, gee, back to you. There's something Wendy said there about creating generational income streams. I feel like you talk about too often. And when I was a financial planner, I would meet with people and they'd say, yeah, I'm all set. Yeah, I think I'm good. But I never felt like they were thinking beyond their own goals. Wendy's already thinking about not just what she wants, and she's not there yet, but thinking about like legacy planning. I think that becomes a lot more powerful.
There was an exercise that I did a couple of years ago, and you can work it out on Excel or a calculator. But I thought, okay, I have 3 kids, and I would hope that each one of my 3 kids would have 3 kids, which would be 9 grandchildren. And then I thought those 9 grandchildren would have 3 kids, so there'd be 27 great grandchildren. And I thought about what would be a really mind-blowing, just out of this world amount of income to live on, to be financially independent. And I decided that number was $25,000 a month. I don't know why. That was the number I picked. And I thought, how long do I have between now and when my youngest great grandchild retires to accumulate $25,000 a month in tomorrow dollars for that group of 27? And I don't remember all the exact particulars at this moment, but it was something like I had 110 years, would be about the first time that my great grandchild would reach retirement age. And I needed something that would pull off something in the neighborhood of about $200 million of income every year, because that's how much inflation would affect it. Yeah. Pocket change to a guy like you.
That's a small amount.
So how much money do I need in an account to be able to pull off that income? And I remember the number being somewhere in around $7 or $8 billion. Just a few coins. But the interesting thing that came out of that was, so how much is that today? If I've got 110 years to work on it, and again, I'm just kind of sort of remembering it, and I've got to get to $7.5 billion. I mean, it seems incomprehensible. I mean, people look at their goals right now and say, well, I've got 20 years to get to $1 million. I'll never make it. I got 100 years to get to 7 billion. How much do I have to invest today? And the number is something like 250,000, which is not zero, right? That's a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
But it's also not anywhere close to the number that you would think it would be. And I think the power of that is to recognize that when you give yourself more time, and when you say, hey, I'm 50, I'm running out of days, it's like, no, you're not. You work for 20 more years if you want. My grandfather worked till he was 90. He owned his own business. He quote unquote worked. He wasn't putting shingles on a roof, that's for sure. But I don't think we give ourselves enough time. And when you think about it in these bigger time frames, and you expand life beyond what you might think your life expectancy looks like, it's just mind-boggling the amount of stuff that you can do for other people, or for, your family, or for other places that you care about, when you give yourself enough runway,
Yeah. No, whenever I hear I'm all set, or I think I'm good, my thought process is, I don't think you're thinking big enough. And don't get me wrong, it's great to be fine and to know that you're going to be okay. Right. But man, how much more power could you have? Could you wield?
I remember doing a workshop with a financial planning workshop, and a guy came up to me afterward and said, I think I'm all set. Of course you are. That's why you came to the free dinner.
Because you needed some free rubber chicken.
Because you needed some food. He says, well, I have $5 million, and they're all in municipal bonds, and I make 6% on them. That's $300,000 a year. I only live on $200,000. I've been doing it for 20 years. I'm 75 years old. There's nothing it's tax-free income. Like, what else could I possibly need? And that was my exact response to him. I said, yeah, you're just not thinking big enough. He says, well, I have $5 million. I said, good for you. But if you would have invested your money correctly right now, you'd have $150 million, and you'd be building a children's hospital. but I have 5 million. It's like, I know, which is awesome, by the way. But think bigger.
Yeah, I love that. Wendy, is there something that you see, because you're in this fire community, you talk to people all the time, of course, on your show, you've interviewed lots of people. Is there something you feel like people are missing when it comes to what they're going to do once they retire?
Well, I think they don't think practically. And I think that some of that is that I think we work so hard, and a lot of, I experienced that, a lot of career burnout and just living that for a long time. And so you envision this retirement where you just don't have to do anything, but that's just not practical. And I joke and I say that, I have no problem sitting on the beach, but could I do that every single day? No, I have to think about what other ways am I going to get fulfillment? How am I going to have a purpose? So really thinking about your purpose and envisioning what that looks like.
I think there's some balance in your planning too, because of your kids. Like, I feel like you've got this, you don't want to save everything for this tomorrow that might not happen. I don't want to put words in your mouth, by the way, but this is just a feeling I get, that you also want to enjoy the kids while they're here now.
Oh, 100%. That was a lot of it. My 25-year-old, when she was little, we were in the thick of it. We were struggling. We were building our careers. We were, trying to chase this American dream. And so she didn't get the mom and dad that our little ones are getting. She didn't get, being able to just leave and go visit her sister in Phoenix and, spend the day at the pool, or, go on all these vacations and just spend time with mom and dad doing more quality stuff. And they're still going to be, teenagers when we retire. And so they're just going to have a whole different life experience. And I'm so grateful that we're going to be able to give that to them.
That is so cool. It wouldn't be live on Fireside if we didn't have Len Penzo having trouble. Len, are you back?
I think so. Can you hear me?
You are back. When it comes to your planning, then let's talk about the tools that you've used, because I know that you obviously use. Is it Excel spreadsheets? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? There's not one calculator out there you really like?
Well, there's various retirement calculators, but they're kind of generic. But there's tons of them out there on the internet where you can just enter in how much you have, how long you think before you're going to retire, how long do you think you expect to live, stuff like that, and you can fill in the numbers, and it gives you kind of an idea. I have one at my work that does these Monte Carlo runs,
simulations,
simulations. So, which is really cool. But yeah, just the Excel spreadsheet and just basic planning. You can't overthink it. I think you can kind of dumb it down to the point where, really all you do need to know is, estimate how long you think you're going to live, be very conservative, and then pick the age you want to retire and your expected returns on your investments while you're retired. And you can kind of get a good thumbnail idea of whether you have enough or not. You won't know for sure, but That's where the Monte Carlo runs come in, which is really nice because it'll run all kinds of different scenarios and get probabilities of, you get like a bell curve of probabilities. So
last thing from you before we wrap up this second half of the show is, did you hear what OG said, or were you lost trying to get back? When
I was in the light, Joe, and I found my way back. I found the dark hole there, and I'm back.
The bad news is, sorry. We're talking about you being the old guy, and I'm only 1 year behind you, and Wendy's only 3 years behind me. So Wendy, the light's coming for you too. So.
You see what you guys have to look forward to? I'm trying to be the trailblazer for you.
That's good. The second light goes off into the light.
Let me just say one thing. I don't know what OG said, but let me just say one thing I do, you got to think about. And again, it's and OG might have said this, what are you going to do when you retire? I mean, life is long. It's a long, long time. And you really need to, you might think you know what you're going to do, but you really got to have it planned out. What you really, I mean, sure, lay on the beach and play golf. That's great for a year or two, but you're going to get tired of that. So you got to have things lined up. So I have a few things. I have, I want to improve my blog. But I also have two other very interesting. I have a business idea that I want to pursue. And I'll talk about that in coming shows down the road. But first I got to get it going. And then the other thing is I actually want to try. I know somebody who works in a cannery or who cans and makes, orange juice and puts things like that. And I kind of want to try my hand at, I have a couple recipes, and I'm thinking about venturing off and trying canning some recipes and selling them. So we'll see.
Well, the piece that OG talked about was playtesting. You talked about being a free spender now, and he mentioned that you should try playtesting being on a fixed budget, Len, while you still have you've got a job, you've got recourse.
Playtesting? What does that mean?
It means backing down your spending. You talked about being a free spender now, but practice it now so that it's not this culture shock. Len retires and the family goes on lockdown.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. We've kind of done that. And, I've talked about that in the past where we have these little drills of layoff drills, I used to call them, where, would say, hey, if I'm going to get laid off and our income's going to drop to this level, what are we going to be spending on, So, but playtesting, I guess, is really putting the pedal to the metal and not really making it. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we talk about doing that too during retirement or take these mini retirements instead of saving it all up for later as well. Hey, that's going to do it for today, everybody. Let's find out what is happening where all of you are. OG, we'll start with you. Any big plans this weekend? Kicking off October?
None.
Isn't that fabulous? That's
hanging out.
Fabulous.
Yep.
Love
nothing weekend planned.
Love that kind of weekend. Mr. Penzo, what's going on at lenpenzo.com?
Well, it's a good one for all of you people that get trick or treaters. This what we have is the 10, and I polled my kids. Now this is an old article. This is from when my kids were 10 and 11 years old. But I polled them what was their favorite Halloween treats, and so I've got their top 10 Halloween treats. So if you're going to give out goodies this Halloween, you got to come by lenpenzo.com. Make sure you're giving out the right stuff.
Yeah, don't give out any of that horrible candy.
But the full size makes it all better. No matter what the candy is, you hand out the full size and everyone's happy.
I remember neighbors we had close by that just for people on the street, those kids would get the full size because they were the neighborhood kids. That was fantastic.
Yeah, we have neighbors in our block too. They give the big to the local kids, the real neighborhood kids.
Just to make you look bad.
Ones. Yeah, exactly. But those giant bars. Oh my God.
Oh, the giant bars.
The giant bars.
Yeah, the dude's a dentist, isn't he?
He's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wendy Bass, thanks for hanging out with us.
Oh, so much fun. I'm so glad I got to hang out.
I'm so glad you did too. And on Len's special day, you got to be here for it. What's happening at House of Fi lately?
We're just trying to, keep our videos out every single week. And that's really about it. We just got monetized on our channel. So that was a big milestone.
Saw that.
Super excited about that. Yeah.
Yes. Well, the videos are so good. And it looks like you guys have so much fun making them. I tell you, man, I have a face for audio. So better you two than me.
It's more manageable. Doing an hour long podcast, it was just a lot. It was a lot for me to do.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Wendy.
It's just much more manageable. And it's weird. I just feel like I have a more connection. I know I'm not looking at anybody, but I feel like I am.
I don't know. It feels like you're talking directly to me. And by the way, we'll link to your YouTube channel on our show notes page at stackingbenjamins.com. All right. That's going to do it for today, everybody. Doug, you've got it from here, man. What should we have learned today?
I'll tell everybody what they should have learned today, Joe. First, forget traditional definitions for retirement, or maybe the semantics altogether. Retirement is just a transition from working for someone else to using those same skills however you want in a way that you choose. No matter your goal, go get it, Stacker. Second, it might be a good idea to test your retirement budget by implementing it while you're still employed. But the big lesson? Turns out, when I called Len, our resident elder, Joe's mom took issue with that, and now she's making me sit down for some prunes and tapioca while I listen to her whole life story. Speaking of the Titanic, I'm going down. To learn more about our guests and for more resources, you can head to our show notes page at stackingbenjamins.com. For more Wendy Mays, just head over to houseoffy.com. And in celebration of the International Day of Older Persons, head over to lenpenzo.com/denture care and glean some age-old wisdom from Len. Hey, Joe, just an idea, but when it's International Grumpy Day, I think we can celebrate OG.
I totally agree. Next week? Welcome to the after show. This is the part of the show that doesn't exist. What happens?
Hey, let's all thank Wendy for not jumping in on that big bunch of silence there.
On the pause.
I think she was coached.
Not cool. Not cool.
Wendy's like, wait, are you waiting for me to talk right now? Should I be talking?
This is awkward. I must say something.
That's right. There's a space. There's a space. Hey, we had since it's Len's big day, we had a friend of ours on Instagram, Eclectic Esoteric, sent this to us, and listen to Who Must Have a Side Hustle. This is an FM radio commercial. Check this out.
On whatever I've done with it, it's 60 to 90 days to even figure out that they're the victim of this crime. By that point, you start getting foreclosure notices and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house. Not only that, you don't even own your home anymore. It's not even in your name.
Heard enough?
That sounds exactly like Len Penzo doing commercials about house foreclosure.
It did because I was just listening, going, I don't remember saying that. It did sound like me.
Are you foreclosing on houses now, Len?
No, but I swear to God, I was like, when did I say that? I can't even remember.
And by the way, he points out that's Sacramento radio.
Wow.
Where Sacramento comes to something. Oh, wait, it's AM radio, so it must be where Sacramento comes to die. I don't have the last word, but that's got to be it. I am wondering if at any other time, Len, you've been mistaken, and actually I'll throw this out to Wendy and OG as well, and Doug, mistaken for somebody, like mistaken for a celebrity, mistaken for someone. As an example, when I was younger and I was a runner in college, I was super thin, and I had this long stringy hair before it all fell out, and I would get the Tom Petty thing, which I never thought that was I was like, do I want to look like Tom Petty? I'm not sure. But
okay, so I will tell you, I've people say, and hey, they say in the old days they said Bronson Pinchot, who they said
I thought you were going to say LeBron when you were starting that.
but then, and I don't see this one. People will say Ed Norton Jr. also.
Oh, I don't see that.
I don't either.
That's more your voice.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yep. Yeah. Very much voice. How about you, Wendy?
No, I'm one of a kind.
She's like, yes, I am a snowflake. You never get that?
No, I can't think of one time.
Does Kurt get it?
Oh my God. All the time.
Every Friday night.
Shaq. He gets confused with Shaq. And then there's this actor, I forget his name, but he was a principal in this show. And he's this big, huge black guy with the bald head and the big dark eyebrows. And he looks dead on him.
Does he do a good Shaq impression, by the way?
No. Not very good.
How tall is he?
He's 6'4".
Okay.
And 300.
Yeah.
So he's a big man.
He is a big man, but not Shaq tall though.
No, he's not that tall. But
No.
people don't know. People don't realize how really, really tall that Shaq's height is.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. He should walk into what's the commercial where what's the pizza company that they've now named
Papa
a pizza?
John's.
Papa John's. He should totally walk into a Papa John's and request a free one. Let's see what they do. Oh, gee, how about you? People mistake you for a podcast personality?
Tom Cruise.
All the time.
I see it.
Thank you, Len.
Is that the mic drop right there?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I didn't say that I am Tom Cruise, but people have mistaken me for him.